China is a huge wine market for Australia. In fact, they received almost 40% of our total wine exports, worth more than $1 billion over the past year. But ever since the federal government called for an inquiry into the origins of coronavirus, as we should, well, China has been lashing out, and as a consequence, there's been a relentless trade war and hefty tariffs on some of Australia's most prized goods, including our wine. Now, this is a brutal blow for those ordinary Australians who've already gone through so much. This is our vignerons and our winemakers and all of those in regional Victorian horticulture through years of drought and bushfires. But winemakers are not taking it lying down. They're issuing a patriotic call to Australians to support them in their time of need. And joining me now from the Hunter Valley is New South Wales Tyrrell Wine's Chief Executive, Mr Bruce Tyrrell. Bruce Tyrrell, thank you very much for coming on the show. Terrific to have you on the show. This is such an important sort of fight back from the industry. I congratulate the industry on this. What's your message to Australians?
I think the simple message has got to be that, you know, over this Christmas period and into the new year, the Australian wine industry can take all the help you can give it. So if it comes down to selecting a bottle of wine to drink on Christmas Day, please select a bottle of Australian. Because we've lost now. The Chinese have made that market totally unviable for Australia. And so that's about 20% of our production. So if you buy some Australian, you're not only looking after the winemakers, you're also looking after the grape growers, the people who cart our freight, people who make labels, make cartons, runs all the way down through the economy.
You said 20% of your wine goes into China. What was it before the free trade deal? Did you see a big takeoff into that marketplace?
Oh, look, the China had started to grow and grow really well for Australia. The free trade agreement came in 2015, and that really helped us. It was just that shot in the arm that kicked Australia along. But about the same time, the domestic sales of Chinese made wine, and China's a very big winemaker, started to fall. And the beginning of this problem came when we got, about 5 months ago, an anti-dumping claim. Now, it was interesting to say that the Australian wine industry was dumping because our average price over 4 years had risen by about 30%. So
that's exactly the point. Yeah, you're very right to make that point.
Yeah, so that's where it all started, and I think a number of us saw that as the thin edge of the wedge, and we certainly, and I know a lot of my colleagues, have gone looking for new markets. We started that a few months ago. There is no other market the same size as China, however. So we've got to find a whole lot of newer, smaller, growing markets, which probably in the long run, Peta, will be of benefit and of strength to the Australian wine industry because it'll broaden the base of our sales internationally.
How would you describe China's actions? I mean, you're one of many exporters that have been hit across many, varying, very different, iron ore and other things. Of course, they're still exporting, but we've had coal, we've had lamb, we've had beef. How would you describe China's actions?
Oh, I think there is no logical reason for it, not economically. So you'd have to say that it was politically motivated. Australia, as Australians are very good at, and hopefully we never stop doing that, are prepared to stand up for our own. Now, we're not prepared to be pushed around. And not that I think we did anything much aggressive. All we wanted to do was find out why COVID started and how, so that next time it happens, and it will happen again somewhere in the world, we're better prepared, and the tens of thousands of people that have died don't have to die again. So if that...
So I wanted to talk to you...
Go for it.
Sorry, Bruce, you finish.
No, I think, it's just about done. I think that's a question that China needs to ask itself. Does it want the assistance of the rest of the world next time there's a pandemic? Or do we walk away and leave them on their own?
This is why I wanted to talk to you, because rather than say the government's done the wrong thing in demanding a global inquiry into this pandemic, rather than have a crack at the Morrison government over X, Y or Z, as some exporters have had, that we should shut up and we should just take the money and we should lay down in terms of not defending Australians' values. You're saying that what the government's doing is right, that we should be speaking up on these sorts of issues, and you've actually got a plan B by going out to Australians and say, please have our back, come out and spend up.
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, money's money, but also principle is principle. And I think one of the great things of being Australian is that we're a nation of people who are prepared to stand for our principles and to have some backbone and to say no. I think that's a very important part of being Australian. It's one of the things that a number of us, probably my age, and more than any, are prepared to say and do.
With comments like that, I tell you, Tyrrell's goes right to the top of my winemaker list for Christmas and Friday night drinks after work. Can you just help me out? What's it been like in terms of getting labour onto your vineyard over this period of time? We know that there's been a lot of horticulture sector businesses in particular find it really tough to get people to pick fruit and other things. Have you had any issues getting workers?
Yeah, look, we just at Tyrrell's will need about 80 casual workers for up to 6 weeks, starting about the second week of January, to get our grapes off. At the moment, we maybe have half of the people we need. So at the moment, there is a shortage. I think one of the things we're at about 8% unemployment. So anyone who doesn't have a job and needs some work, here's 6 weeks of casual work in the Hunter Valley, picking grapes. It's a job for people. One of the things always happens here, after every vintage, there's 1 or 2 or 3 of those people who come casually picking that end up with a permanent job here. So if someone comes out and gets into it, well, they can end up with a permanent job. So hopefully we can rely on domestic population who are currently unemployed to come and get a job. It's here. Just ring the major wineries in the Hunter and get your name down for a picking job, and it's there to start in 4 weeks' time, 5 weeks' time.
All right. Couldn't be better than that. Work for some and wine for others. Bruce Tyrrell, thank you very much for your time. All the best for Christmas.
Okay, Peter. Thank you, and the same to you.